Welcome to the deep dive where we sift through the noise to get to what really counts. Have you ever walked into, say, a busy sports bar, or maybe a corporate lobby with screens everywhere, or even like a command center, and you see all those displays, some showing different things, some perfectly synced up, and you wonder, how do they do that? It just seems to work, right? Like magic. Well, today we're kind of pulling back the curtain on that. We're heading into the heart of these massive audiovisual distribution systems. Okay, let's unpack this a bit. Our mission today for this deep dive is to really get a handle on these high-end HDMI Matrix Switchers. We're specifically zeroing in on the WolfPack 4K 60 Hz 4.4.4 models, the ones in that 36 by 36 chassis from HDTV Supply, Inc. We want to figure out, what are these things? How do they actually work? And why are they so crucial for anyone needing to route, well, dozens of high-res video and audio sources, not to just as many displays with like total precision and flexibility?
Yeah, it's actually fascinating when you look at how they're engineered. They solve this really fundamental problem, managing this huge flow of top quality audio and video and doing it without any compromise, making these, potentially super complex setups feel effortless to the person actually using them. That alone is quite an achievement.
Absolutely. So let's start with the basics then. What exactly is an HDMI matrix switcher?
Okay. Think of it as like the ultimate digital traffic controller for AV signals.
A traffic controller.
Right. You've got multiple inputs, could be media players, PCs, cable boxes, you name it. And then you've got multiple outputs, TVs, projectors, monitors.
Right. Lots of screens.
The matrix switcher is that central hub. It lets you connect any of those inputs to any of those outputs.
Yeah.
In any combination you want, pretty much on demand.
Okay. And this WolfPack system, this is where the scale gets really interesting. We're talking a 36 by 36 chassis.
Yeah.
Which means what? It supports up to 36 HDMI inputs.
Right.
And a 36 HDMI outputs simultaneously.
That's right. 36 in, 36 out.
Wow. I mean, just think about the number of devices and screens that one box can connect and manage.
Exactly. And that level of capacity, that's really the game changer for these big installations.
Yeah.
It gives you this incredible flexibility for managing content dynamically, which is just essential in places like command centers watching multiple feeds.
Sure.
Or huge digital signage networks, maybe across a whole campus.
Right.
Or those multi-zone entertainment systems, where different areas need different things playing.
Yeah.
Being able to route any source to any display instantly, that just opens up so many possibilities.
Okay, let's talk quality then. Because with all that routing, you don't want to lose the picture quality. The specs mention 4K 60 hertz. Now, 4K, most people get that ultra high definition, but that 60 hertz refresh rate, that's important, right?
Oh, absolutely critical. It's not just about making the video look smooth. 60 frames per second is vital for minimizing lag, minimizing motion blur. Think about live sports, fast-moving graphics, or even critical data streams.
Yeah, you need that clarity.
You need that real-time accuracy. It ensures a really fluid, precise image across every single display. Paramount in professional settings.
And it also mentions HDCP 2.3 and HDMI 2.0 compliant. These are the latest standards.
They are, and it's not just about being up to date. HDMI 2.0 handles the bandwidth for 4K 60 Hz. And HDCP 2.3, that's the latest copy protection. It's essential for compatibility with modern sources, like 4K Blu-ray players or streaming boxes, and it ensures that secure, encrypted pathway for premium content. You need it.
Okay, and then there's 4.4.4 color space and HDR. Can you unpack those a bit for us? Why are they significant?
Right, this is where we get into really top-tier visual fidelity. So 4.4.4 color space, basically it means no color compression. Yeah. Zero.
No compression at all.
None for the color information. For every pixel, you're getting the full original color data. There's no chroma subsampling. Think of it like looking at a photographer's original RAW file versus a compressed JPEG.
Okay. Much more detail.
Exactly. Yeah. Vital if you need absolutely precise colors, like for branding or detailed medical images or high-end graphics work. Any loss is unacceptable there.
Makes sense.
And then you add HDR, high dynamic range. That gives you a much wider range between the brightest whites and the deepest blacks, plus more steps in between.
So more contrast, more lifelike.
Precisely. Yeah. More lifelike, more impactful visuals, brighter highlights, deeper shadows, richer colors. It really makes the image pop.
Okay, that covers the visual side. Let's switch gears to the physical design. It says the WolfPack uses a short 8U 4K 60 Hz 36 by 36 chassis. Now, 8U, that refers to the rack size, right? Is that considered compact for this much power?
It is, yeah. 8U or 8 rack units high. For a matrix that can handle 36 by 36 4K signals, that's actually quite space efficient. Rack space is almost always tight in equipment rooms, so getting that density in a smaller chassis is a real practical advantage for installers.
And what I found really interesting is the modularity. They're called modular matrix switchers. It says you use these 4K 60 hertz HDMI input and output cards, and that lets the system grow in the field. What does that mean exactly?
It means you don't have to buy a fully loaded 36 by 36 system right out of the gate if you don't need it yet.
Ah.
You buy the chassis, which has all the potential slots, but then you only buy the number of input cards and output cards you need now.
Yeah.
Maybe you start with, say, 16 inputs and 24 outputs.
Right.
Then next year, if your needs expand, you just buy more cards and slot them into the chassis. You can scale it up incrementally all the way to the full 36 by 36 capacity without replacing the main unit.
That seems really smart, scalable and cost-effective.
Exactly. It's a very forward-thinking design. Scalability is huge. Cost-effectiveness, too, because you're not paying for unused capacity up front. And it kind of future-proofs the investment, letting the system adapt over time instead of needing a complete rip and replace.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense for big projects. And speaking of planning for issues, reliability. It mentions 2 power supplies, 1 backup. How critical is that redundant power?
Oh, it's absolutely vital for anything considered mission critical. It's a standard feature on high-end gear like this. It means if the primary power supply fails for any reason, the backup supply instantly takes over, seamlessly. There's no interruption in operation.
So the screens stay on, the signals keep flowing?
Precisely. Imagine a security control room, or maybe a live broadcast, or a hospital operating room display. You simply cannot have this system go down due to a single power supply failure.
Right. Downtime is not an option there.
Not an option. That redundancy provides indispensable peace of mind.
Okay, so you've got this potentially massive system, 36 sources, 36 displays. Sounds complex to manage. How do you actually control these WolfPack switchers?
Well, they offer a pretty comprehensive range of control options, actually. Lots of flexibility there.
Like what?
Okay, so for direct local control, you've got physical buttons right on the front panel. Simple, direct. Plus, there's an option for a 7-inch color touchscreen you can add to the front. More visual, more intuitive, maybe.
Okay, local options. What about network or remote control?
Yep, plenty there. There's a built-in Web GUI.
So a web browser interface.
Exactly. You just access it over the network from a computer. Makes it easy for IT or AV managers. And it has dual TCP/IP ports for network redundancy or potentially separate control networks.
And serial control, too. Dual RS-232 ports listed.
Correct. RS-232 is still a standard for many professional automation systems.
Speaking of automation, it mentions integration. Crestron, Telon, Control4 drivers, even optional URC.
Right. This is key for larger installations. It means the matrix switcher can be seamlessly integrated into a building-wide control system, so you can manage the video routing alongside lighting, audio, shades, everything from one unified interface.
And even mobile apps, iOS and Android.
Yeah, supplied apps for remote control from a phone or tablet. Pretty handy.
So what this really means then is huge flexibility. Whether you're an administrator needing network access or an end user wanting a simple touch panel, or integrating it into a big automation project, there's a way to control it that fits.
That's the goal.
Yeah.
You're not locked into one method. It adapts to the environment and the user's needs.
And I saw something about presets, 40 presets that can be saved and recalled.
Presets are incredibly useful.
How would that work? Give me an example.
Okay, think about that sports bar again.
Right.
They could set up a preset called Game Day Sunday. Maybe it puts the main NFL game on the big screens, specific regional games on smaller TVs near the bar, and maybe cycling ads on others.
Gotcha. All pre-configured.
Exactly. Then the manager just selects that one preset command.
And boom, everything switches instantly to the right configuration.
Right. Instead of juggling, 15 remotes and trying to remember which input goes where under pressure.
Yeah, that sounds way less stressful. And more efficient.
Definitely. Presets save time, reduce errors, and make managing complex setups much, much simpler. It really comes down to user experience, even with complex tech, making it powerful but also manageable, efficient, reducing training time needed, tailoring the control, whether it's that simple touch panel or the full automation, it empowers the user.
Let's bring this down to a really concrete example. The source material specifically mentions an optional custom sports bar control system. So this isn't just theoretical, they actually offer tailored solutions.
Right. It shows they understand the specific needs of certain markets, like hospitality.
Imagine having that power in a sports bar Instantly putting any game or maybe a menu promotion onto any specific screen or group of screens, that's a big advantage.
Huge, especially for customer experience.
And they give some price points too, which helps frame the investment, like a pre-configured 4K 60Hz 32 by 16 HDMI Matrix Switch for around $4,900, and scaling up to the full 4K 60Hz 36 by 36 model for about $6,100.
It gives you a ballpark, yeah.
Yeah.
This is professional-grade infrastructure.
But then there's also the option to build your own. You can get the empty 36 by 36 chassis starting around $2,500 today, down from an MSRP of $4,000, and then add just the input-output cards you need.
That's that modularity we talked about, taken to its logical conclusion,
Yeah.
maximum customization.
So it really empowers the installers, the system designers, to build exactly what's needed for a unique project without compromise.
Absolutely. That spectrum of options, from the pre-configured boxes to the fully custom build, it really underscores that even this advanced tech is designed with different end users, different budgets, and different needs in mind. It's about providing tailored solutions across a range of professional applications.
Okay, makes sense. And finally, let's just touch on the company behind all this, HDTV Supply, Inc. Because the provider matters too, right? Not just the hardware.
Definitely. Support, reliability, experience, it's all part of the package.
Well, the source says they're a 24-year global home for audio and video products. Been certified since March 2003.
Wow, 24 years. That's a long time in the tech world, especially AV.
It speaks volumes, doesn't it? Suggests real expertise, staying power in the industry.
For sure.
They also highlight some industry recognition. They're an HDBaseT.org approved adopter.
HDBaseT, that's the standard for sending AV and control over long network cables, right?
Correct. It's a major standard for professional AV distribution. Being an approved adopter means they're committed to interoperability and performance based on that standard. That's important.
And then there's customer feedback, rated as an exceptional top-quality store by Google Shopping, with a commitment noted for great support and fast delivery.
That's crucial. The industry nods are good, but positive customer ratings on service and support. That tells you a lot about the day-to-day experience of dealing with them. So you've got the longevity, the industry certifications, the customer satisfaction. It builds a layer of confidence, knowing that the cutting-edge tech is backed by a solid, experienced company committed to quality. That matters when you're investing in complex systems. Right. So let's wrap this deep dive up. We've seen how these WolfPack 4K 60Hz HDI Matrix Switchers deliver, well, incredible flexibility, really high fidelity performance, that 4K 60Hz, 4.4.4 color HDR,
Notch visuals,
solid reliability with things like the dual power supplies, and just extensive adaptable control options for managing these really complex AV setups. Plus, they're modular, they're scalable, and they come from a provider with a long track record. So what's the takeaway for you, the listener? Well, even if you're not planning to rig up 36 TVs tomorrow.
Probably not in the living room now.
Probably not. But understanding what systems like these can do, it gives you a real appreciation for the engineering and the detailed planning that goes into those seamless visual experiences we see every day, in stadiums, airports, boardrooms, everywhere. It's pretty amazing stuff behind the scenes.
It really is. And it makes you think, maybe a final thought for you to consider. As displays become even more integrated into our lives, public spaces getting more interactive, entertainment becoming more immersive, how will the next evolution of these powerful, flexible AV distribution systems continue to shape how we see, experience, and interact with visual information in the future? It's definitely something